Hey, everybody, Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And as always, we're going to get to the chit-chat and whatnot with John, Randall, and I in just a few minutes here after I rattle off some of the games that I've been playing and enjoying lately. And John, Randall, and I get into some various chit-chat. This is a slightly different, I think I've done one other episode like this in the past where it's like some shorter, like 5 to 10 minute segments from our off the air segments like we usually do for the Save It for the Cast, but it's not like one continuous conversation. It's like more like, a bunch of like probably a handful of different chunks. But yeah, we get into all sorts of stuff from just like information overload on the internet to cats and dogs. Cats, I guess in particular, just like ripping up your furniture in your apartment or house or whatever. And all sorts of goodness on the chit chat front. So, and we get into video games and stuff too, as per usual, but and a little bit of behind the scenes stuff too, even with just like technical issues setting up and whatnot. But yeah, we'll get to that chit chat in just a few minutes here. But like I said at the top, I did want to give a shout out to some of the games that I've been playing and enjoying lately. And some of the games that I've been digging into as of late are from the Sokpop Super Bundle. I feel like I say this every time I mention our Patreon on the podcast, but I try not to talk about it nonstop because we make sure, like, and this is never going to change, but we're never going to do any ads on the podcast or do anything like gated off where it's like, oh, Patreon only episodes or anything like that. It's more like, hey, if we can reach these milestones, we'll be able to do more of this stuff on the video front or game recommendations or whatever. So anything that we're able to do more of, everyone will be able to enjoy. But I just kind of hate how, or I shouldn't say hate, but on a lot of the podcasts that I listen to and stuff, when it's like a lot of shows like almost like devolve into like just talking about the bonus stuff all the time and whatnot and promoting that. And like, I just don't want to be doing that all the time, even though that's obviously inevitably what I'm kind of doing right now. But to keep it short and sweet on that end, our first monthly milestone was once we hit that, we were going to sign up to spread the love. We were going to sign up for the Sokpop Patreon, which they release. I know I talk about PUNKCAKE all the time, PUNKCAKE Délicieux, that is. And obviously, I know I've talked about some of the games from Sokpop Collective in the past, and I'm actually going to be talking about their most recent game, Tile, and they have another one in the works, probably multiple games in the works, because again, like PUNKCAKE, they release a game every month. They've been doing it for a lot longer, like almost like 3 or 4 years now, I think. So they have in this not only alongside signing up for their Patreon, which is only $3 a month, and you get their newest game plus a game from their back catalog, even at that lowest tier, and they have some higher tiers beyond that. But anyways, I ended up also picking up, like with that monthly milestone, I was like, okay, I'm also going to buy the Sokpop Super Bundle, which is every now and then they put it on sale, but for like full price, it's $200 for all 96 of the games that they've released so far. And I've been digging into some of those. And like I said, I'm going to talk about Tile, their most recent one at the time of recording this on an episode in a few weeks that we've already recorded. We've been kind of stockpiling a few episodes and video recordings and stuff. I'm getting ready to move back to Michigan to cut down on expenses and to just be closer to family and stuff in the coming months. So at the end, and basically in like a month and a half from now, I'm going to be back home in Michigan, so we've been stockpiling. So anyways, I'll be talking about Tile in a few weeks on the podcast, not to get too behind the scenes and too sidetracked, but the game that they released right before that is called Guardener, and I really like, and I think I might have mentioned this when I talked about Tile, but I really like how all three of these games now kind of feel somewhat similar to Stacklands, which is a game of theirs that I've mentioned on the podcast, and not similar in a way where it's like, oh, it feels like the same game, but it feels like they're all like very nature themed and like have like a kind of core, like overarching progression that you progress through, I guess, that like feels very like, I don't know, it otherwise all three of these games are like kind of quick pick up and play arcadey, roguelike, turn-based ish sort of things. I guess they're not all turn-based. For example, the game here, Guardener, that I've been playing as of late, and again, that's their second newest one as of right now, but it's like a top-down, and the art style is just amazing. It's like this hand-drawn, like just super clean, really sharp and really colorful game, and essentially you're on this really small single-screen grid that's like really zoomed in, kind of top-down perspective, and it's essentially a tower defense game where you play as like this little garden gnome, and then it's all played with a mouse again, and you know how I love these cursor-only games, and you're basically like grabbing all the UI for the shop is right in the top right corner, and you pick which type of seed you want to plant, and those seeds will either be like a worker helper or a fighter or like a fighter slash worker that's like not particularly good at either one of those things, but is, somewhat more universal in the sense that you can obviously use them and, when there's an enemy wave coming or when you're just trying to set up shop. And that's one of the things that I've really been enjoying about this game is like I've probably played like 10 runs or so. I actually did a stream checking it out some more right before recording this. And I'm really enjoying just kind of like learning the ropes and realizing, okay, what's the best approach? Like at first I was thinking like, oh, I got to really get these like worker slash helper potatoes right off the bat. There's like 5 different types of units you can have, at least at the start. And I'm like, yeah, I got to have these like multifaceted units so I can do 2 things at once, like help while the enemies aren't coming, like pick the weeds and water the plants. You have like maybe 5 or 6. Yeah, it's basically you can like rest to recover health, or you can attack, pick weeds, water the seeds, or you can even build like your main house is what you're trying to protect. If either the house or your like main gnome character die, it's a game over. But yeah, you're basically just trying to get through all 4 seasons. And I think, and just like Stacklands, and I don't think Telltale plays like this, but like a lot of their games use like a moon cycle to represent like the course of like a day, or in this case, I guess like almost like a month, because you're playing through like 4 moon cycles, then you get to a boss, and then you move from spring to summer. And I got to the boss in spring in the like final run that I did, and I had to leave it there because I was like, okay, this is kicking my ass, and I still got to figure out like exactly where to like what strategy to start off with from the top. I'm still kind of figuring out like what the best approach is. But yeah, you can build like fences, like either a vertical or a horizontal wall to like kind of reroute enemies. You can get like a ranged corn on the cob minion like fighter ranged attack. It's I was thinking it was going to be like a bow and arrow, but they're just like spitting out little corn kernels, and it's pretty cool. They actually like run away, like they almost like kite the enemies away from the, not necessarily always away from the house, but they'll kind of like, I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to have to like manage their positioning all the time, but they kind of like take a pot shot and then take a few steps away, and they'll take some damage here and there. You do have to watch them out of the corner of your eye, and it's really cool. Yeah, you can grab the seeds, and like then even after you, like it'll cost 2 coins to buy most of the helpers. I guess 1 coin for like the regular helper, and then 2 for the fighters or like the potato versatile helper, and then 5 coins for the corn on the cob helper. But then you can sell those back for the full price that you paid for them, but you can spend coins to expand the grid, and that's kind of where like some of the mechanics of Telltale come into play. And it's just so cool how like all these games feel like, I don't even know if they're intended to be, but they really feel like this like trio of games feel like a very like cohesive like trifecta trilogy of games or something. Again, I don't think there's any real relation, although maybe there is some kind of like Sokpop extended universe. But again, I just wanted to say thanks again to all the Patreon supporters, because it's been just already such a blast just diving into like 2 or 3 of these games so far, and there's over 90 more to dig into. I guess I've played like a handful before, so I guess like 88 or 89 more to dig into, but man, I can't wait. And there's a game coming every month from this point in, so I'm just really excited and happy to spread the love over to them as well, because I've been kind of like, I've been a subscriber to the PUNKCAKE Patreon for so long, and it's been like, I really should, it's only $3 extra, I really should just sign up for this Sokpop one. So that was like, I'll make that the first of the monthly milestones. But yeah, I've been really enjoying Guardener and Telltale and really everything from them so far. I've booted up a couple others just briefly to be like, what's this one all about? And does it run on my computer okay? And it's like, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. White Lavender looks like a really like mysterious, just like 3D adventure. I'm so excited to dig into these games. So yeah, thanks again. And I guess while I'm mentioning PUNKCAKE briefly, I just checked out the demo after, actually on that stream after playing some Guardener. I just briefly checked out the demo for their newest game called MOONPONG, and Remy, who we've actually had on the podcast before, is the lead designer on this one. They kind of trade back and forth in their team of 2. They're a team of 3, but Pentadrangle does all the music and whatnot. Well, Remy and Benjamin seem to kind of swap back and forth, or at least they don't necessarily go back and forth, but they trade off on like who's the lead designer on any individual game. But yeah, MOONPONG seems to be mostly Remy here, and if you've played any of Remy's previous like Pico 8 games, it really feels reminiscent in terms of like the trippy kaleidoscope visuals and stuff. And I kept kind of every once in a while, Remy was posting online like, hey, I'm still trying to think of a title for this game, and I was like, you gotta call it Kaleidoscope or Kaleidoscoop, like with collide hyphen scoop or whatever. I'm just, me and my stupid puns, and I guess alliteration and puns is really what I'm what I'm all about. But yeah, MOONPONG is a great name as well. I guess I didn't. I think Remy might have mentioned it in their Discord, but I don't think I remembered that like you're actually like playing with like the Pong ball itself is actually the moon, and it's like a 3-dimensional Pong game where like the arena is like basically everything inside the circle is like the play field, and like gravity is like the ball or the moon is like being pulled towards the orbital ring. And then you're if you're playing with a gamepad, you can play with a mouse as well. But I was playing with a gamepad, and like basically whatever direction you're pointing the joystick in will be like almost like a clock arm. But like if you're pointing it directly up at 12 o'clock, then the moon paddle will be right up at 12 o'clock. If you're pointing it at 6 o'clock, it'll be right down at the bottom. So it's just really cool in that regard. It takes a little getting used to, but like you really need to whip the paddle around really quickly, especially when there's a bunch of enemies. Like it really feels very like pinball-esque, where like the ball is like ricocheting off a bunch of enemies, or they might even trigger an attack like a spin mode and like launch the ball or the moon for that matter, like even further in one direction or harder in one direction. You really got to like be able to quickly and reflexively like just whip that moon all the way to the other side and do like a quick 180. So yeah, I feel like there's almost no other way. Or I guess, yeah, I played just one quick run just to see how it felt with the mouse. But I was like, I'm always a gamepad fan. Although again, I am a big fan of games that you can play, especially the games that are a little more casual in terms of being not so actiony. But even their previous game, Ecstatic, was purely played with the mouse. And at first I was like, oh man, I want that gamepad control. And I was just like, once I got the hang of it, I was like, oh, I don't think you could really do this game any other way. Like it's just designed so thoughtfully around that control scheme, where MOONPONG here is definitely designed in a way where you can play whichever way you prefer. I saw some people in the Discord right away with the demo, and the demo just has the first 2 levels, and it's kind of like an arcade roguelike progression. It seems to be somewhat inspired, or take some elements at least, from Risk of Rain, the way you can like stack buffs like multiple times and just keep upgrading like how hard your Pong like slap is, because you can almost like charge it up, and then when you release it, you like kind of like slingshot, and like you basically want to like hold that down at all times, because it actually almost expands the play field a little bit, because your paddle moves a little further back, and it actually like, yeah, extends like that orbital ring that the playfield is in. But yeah, you really got to be watching, because that you know, if the ball or the moon takes like a violent ricochet off any one enemy or any one obstacle, and there's even boss battles at the end of each wave. I really like how it's like laid out, and it seems like, again, there's like level 1, level 2 is like a winter stage, so it's like, and then you clear the boss and move on to the next one. And I cleared the nose. I love the boss is like a mouth and a nose. They're just like kind of crazy, usual crazy Remy flavored pixel art. It's awesome stuff. You know, there's going to be a giant nose in any game made by Remy. And yeah, it's even got a little bit of a flavor of one of their previous games, Damocles Gaze, which is another PUNKCAKE game as well. But yeah, I'm just kind of rambling and gushing at this point, but it's just another game that is incredibly eye-catching. MOONPONG, that is, all their games for that matter, but MOONPONG is just stunning to look at. It's a little bit distracting, but it does have like a ton of accessibility settings to mess around with. I didn't really play around with them too much, but there's a bunch of, both for the difficulty side of things, but also for the visual side of things, with that like kaleidoscope 3D, almost like tie-dye aesthetic that's going on in the background. But it's just so cool. There's an awesome CRT filter, which I'm not usually, or I shouldn't say usually, but I'm not always a huge fan of. It can just be kind of like, I don't know, it can just look kind of messy sometimes, but this is just like soft and kind of smooths everything out and looks really clean and nice. I think it's very similar to the one that they used for Shotgun King, which also looked amazing. Again, in their Discord, Remy was saying like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of this one. You know, with just some slight tweaks here and there. So yeah, I'm just a huge fan of PUNKCAKE, and I'm really happy to now be digging into the Sokpop stuff. It's just awesome to see these studios cranking out a game every month. Or, you know, sometimes there's a slight delay. Like right now, it's, you know, halfway through August, and the July game is still coming down the pipeline for Sokpop. And I think this MOONPONG is technically the July game for PUNKCAKE as well. But it's like for $3 or $4 to support either of them respectively. It's like, that's like a month, that is, at least at the lowest tier. It's like, that's like next to nothing to get a game. And in Sokpop's case, a game from another game from their, you know, previous game from their catalog, like getting 2 games if you don't plunk down and get that massive bundle right off the bat. And if you haven't played a ton of their games, like it's just like an absolute bargain. Like even the games that I haven't been the hugest fan of, I've just been like, okay, I'm not even mad. It's $3 or $4. I'm happy to just support what these folks are doing. So yeah, I'm all about it. I'm just living it up, playing a bunch of awesome games, and there's a ton of other games that I could mention, but I'm going to leave it there because I'm rambling, and this could turn into a full-blown gush fest quickly, and I feel like I hear some noise and rumbling outside and whatnot. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there and toss it over to Randall, John, and I for some various chit-chat and whatnot, and we will catch you next week, and until then, take care. How old is the pup?
Charlie, I don't know. Probably 10 or 11 at this point.
Okay.
He's a rescue.
So getting there, a little bit older, yeah.
Yeah, so hard to tell. No clue.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
We got every morning, Regis will, like when I get up and I start making coffee, like, and then log into work, like Regis will just sit like by the bed and cry until I get back into bed so that she can lie in between me and Lauren, like and then once I do that, then she doesn't care if I leave again.
That's
but she
hilarious.
Just like
she needs her moment to be toasted between two bodies.
Yes. I'm like, oh my god. Everything needs to be on her terms. What a cat.
I miss having a cat. We'll probably have another cat eventually when I can work up the strong enough feelings to know that all my furniture is going to get ripped up again.
Ooh, it's so brutal.
But I love cats. I do. I love cats.
I like them too. Like I wouldn't say I like them more than dogs, but they're easier than dogs.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot easier to be like, if you're going to make the commitment, especially if I'm like living alone as I am currently, it's like, okay, if I were to get a pet, a cat would be.
Oh yeah.
What to get unless I get like a fish or something, but
no, get a cat.
No, thanks.
Get a cat. Don't
Cats
get a
are
fish.
great.
But then, yeah,
you can play games and they'll just sleep on you and it's perfect.
It is. It's nice. Yeah, they'll cat loaf on you, and that's I miss that.
Yeah, but they do just destroy furniture. Not every cat. I have been to some houses where people who have cats, and I'm like, how do you have normal furniture here?
I had a velvet couch, and somehow that was the most resistant piece of furniture I've ever had to like Regis. Like yes, like if I looked close, like maybe velvet is the suede.
Did she get a claw snagged in there? Like did that happen?
No.
And it just
some kind of traumatic experience.
No,
yeah.
she went at it. Like she was still sharpening her claws, and I think you could see it, but like it was some weird fabric. Like I feel like suede is the closest.
I could see that being on a chair. Like I sort of know what you mean. Like it's that fabric where like when you brush your hand over it in one direction, it like gets darker.
Yeah,
and
but
it,
like
gets lighter when you go the other direction.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like there's a difference in the fabric at all. Like it seems like one uniform. Like I don't even know like how to.
It's almost like it's like so microfiber, that
right?
It's not even fiber,
right? It was.
I sort of know what you mean. It's like a cloth almost.
Yeah, like close to. I mean, leather-ish. I don't know.
Leather-ish? Okay, maybe.
I mean,
not.
isn't that what suede is? Is like untanned leather?
That sounds right.
Like you can't get it wet.
Yeah, once you said it, I was like, I guess it is kind of. Yeah.
That's good to know. That might play a factor, to be honest, especially like downstairs. Like, we'll just get some suede furniture or something.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. I don't know if it was actual suede. It was a couch I got from a friend from like, and they didn't even buy it. So like, it was one of those hand me down pieces of furniture that I was like, hey, what? I'm not complaining.
Risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what you go to town, it's like, we've got our value out of this and then some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to look into getting my like armchair, which again was also a free piece of furniture that I got from someone, but is I think one of the best like constructed pieces of furniture that I own but like again, it is gone. There is barely any fabric left on that from Regis, like just clawing the shit out of it. And like I'm like, I don't want to get rid of this furniture, but I'm like, I guess I have to learn how to like what reupholstering is. And like,
hey, if it's a good piece of furniture, I think it's worth getting reupholstered.
It can be.
It is so.
I don't know how much that stuff costs. Or
like that's the thing is like I don't know what it costs to reupholster. I don't know what is a good deal in reupholstery. And like, it looks like shit now. Like,
I feel like Tina and maybe Lauren would be handy with that stuff too. I don't know. Tina did that stuff for a while, right? Or I don't know if she did reupholstery per se, but
not exactly. But I mean, it's certainly I would not be out of realm for her to learn and do by any stretch.
Yeah. I feel like she's just so handy and crafty. And then with Lauren doing like the, working with so many different mediums and stuff.
Lauren did learn reupholstery, but in a fine art context. Like she has reupholstered 2 chairs together and then mounted them to a wall. I'm like, I don't know. Like she like when I was like, hey, maybe you could do this. She's like, are you kidding me? I don't know how to make anything usable. Like I just know how to make something that looks cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I've got this backwards. Let me try this. I've just not had the time to fucks with a lot of this stuff. Let's see if I do this. Let's delete this one. Delete this record.
So not to derail everything, but the former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, appears to have been assassinated with a shotgun.
Whoa!
What?
In Japan? Which is bonkers on every level.
He was the prime minister for a long time, too.
Yeah, he was. And also a shotgun in Japan.
Right.
Like...
Yeah,
that's some America shit, not Japan shit.
What the fuck?
Wow.
And he was like relatively not like a hated leader, correct?
He wasn't beloved.
No, he's kind of conservative.
But he wasn't like...
Yeah.
I woof.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy, man. This world is going fucking nuts, man.
Like
gun violence is making its way to other places now.
I mean, I think
all of America's exports.
Yeah. It's
for real.
Always been crazy, and I just think that we now have a constant stream of information and being notified of everything being crazy. Like,
it is true. And I can't remember what podcast it was on, but there was somebody who just made it was just like a comment in passing, but they were just like, our brains like are not evolved to the point where like have not evolved as fast as technology. So like we're really not able to really process being like, oh hey, happy birthday, Susan. Oh hey, the Prime Minister of Japan just blasted with a shotgun.
Oh my God.
Oh hey, like
It's
literally
true.
in like fractions of a second, you're like boom, boom. Oh, school shooting. Oh this. Oh COVID. Oh shit. Like
it's true.
You're not meant to be like to process that much shit at once. And we're just doing it all day, every day. It's crazy. It kind of hit home when they said they were just kind of like, just like BSing. And I was like, man, that's some real shit right there.
yeah, fuck.
I take it back. PursuingPixels.com now functions. So no.
Did you have to change something?
I updated a setting, but I don't know whether or not that was just a browser thing on my side or if it just decided to play nice. So either way, it's valid. It's good.
Nice, yeah. For whatever it's worth, like I can't say I would type it in that often, but like we have like that card page, and I usually use that to just like check, like, oh, did this post or I just like use that to navigate to everything, and I feel like the link there is just the pursuingpixels.com, and it usually works.
And it always works. There you go.
Yeah. So, I've never had it be like, oh, this, because I remember that we had that one time before where it was doing like that, only if I didn't put the www. But
Right. That was
which
weird.
I added that as an option as well.
Nice. Do you get limitless options?
I think so. So far.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's not like buying a second domain and having it rerouted.
No, it's just options under that main domain.
I see.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because ultimately
That's
it's
weird.
pursuingpixels.com. But it's like the actual site behind it is pursuingpixels.podbean.com because that's the feed
Right,
from
right.
the podcast is all that's happened on there. But at least for now, I mean, we could redirect it someplace else for what that's worth.
Yeah, we could. I could either do that or I feel like I should just make a couple extra because I think you could make like extra pages on the Podbean site and just have it basically be like a tab, like, oh, here's the videos, and then just have like a quick, like, I could just like put like one of the YouTube playlists on there and just like for more videos.
You totally
go
can.
Here.
Yeah.
So I'll just do something like that. So like, okay, this is like if somebody just goes pursuingpixels.com, they'll at least be able to kind of find everything in one spot, or navigate to it. But
I could direct to that card thing that you have in the interim if you'd rather do that.
it's honestly, if it looked more legit, like it's kind of like it looks more like a cluttered mess of just links than if it was like, oh man, this is sweet, and like if I can figure out a way to like, okay, these are like the 4 links worth having, and like this would make the most sense. But right now there's like 8 or 9 links. It just kind of just looks like a mess.
Okay,
Right.
I mean, it looks nice, but it's like it wouldn't be like a huge improvement of like, oh, we have a way better landing page now or something, you know?
right.
But yeah, like part of me is like, but it would be like, oh, everybody would then see, oh shit, we have a ton of stuff. But yeah, I think it works fine for now.
Yeah,
How it is.
yeah,
Thanks for doing that, by the way.
yeah.
But yeah, what do we want to chat here? We got Mass Builder, Custom Robo, Tropical Freeze, Spelunky, Elden Ring. And then I could mention Mind Scanners if we feel the need, or NBA. I could almost like, where are you feeling on Mass Builder, Custom Robo, John? Where do you feel like you'd want that around?
Wherever. It's not going to be a huge discussion, I don't think.
Maybe opening, middle.
Yeah, middle would work. If you want to do
Middle?
a quick
I could do like
Mind Scanners beginning, or I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Why don't we do that? Why don't I do just Mind Scanners, then I'll throw it, because I was like, oh, I'll just kind of do like my stream thing. But yeah, why don't I do Mind Scanners, then throw it to you, then throw it back to me to do like Spelunky, Tropical Freeze, to kind of talk about that stream situation and just kind of how I flipped. But Spelunky will just be kind of like a way to lead in. I won't go that deep into it. I'll just kind of talk about how I changed my opinion on it, then kind of go into Tropical Freeze, talk about the new opinions, and then we'll maybe go into stuff from there, and then go to Elden if we still feel like we got some meat on the bones.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think I'll talk Mass Builder, and then I'll go.
Oh, I forgot to. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
sorry.
I'll talk Mass Builder, and then I'll go into Custom Robo, and like that'll kind of prime the discussion of like, I hadn't played this game in
Perfect.
who knows how long. So
Yeah, that'll be a perfect transition. Yeah. Heck yeah. You know what drives me nuts that I do every time, and I mean, it works and it makes sense, but when I say the past tense of syncing up with someone, I always say sunk.
yeah,
And because I don't, it's just too clumsy to say syncing or whatever, synced. I don't even, synced, is that right? I synced
think
up with?
synced is correct.
I think you're right too, because now, but it just
it's
doesn't feel right. It's like,
SYNCED.
yeah,
Right.
I've definitely seen that written down. Yeah, but I just, we sunk up and played this. Like, it just feels right. It just feels right to say, even though I know it's not right. It just feels right when I say it.
Dude,
But it feels wrong at the same time.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, because like I've been listening a lot to Game Studies Study Buddies, and because I linked to they had one episode on like gambling in games, but like it's just been a really nice podcast to listen to, but they at one point said they were referencing Don Quixote, and then in the exact same sentence said quixotic, which is correct, but like the whiplash of hearing Coyote and then Quixotic. I'm like, I hate that's the right thing to say, but I hate it because it sounds so bad.
It sounds very bad.
Yeah, yeah. Even just the word Quixotic on its own is kind of
it's not good.
Harsh.
Ugh, I hate it. Hate it.
Yeah. All right, should we do a clappy here?
Yes, we should do a clappy.
Right. All right, I'm at 21:15.
Yeah,
I'm at 19:55.
Yeah, get confused by my first clap like an idiot. I've done that a few times where I'm like digging through, or I'll see like a pop and just like, oh, that's the clap, and then I start syncing everything up without actually listening to it, and then it's actually somebody just going, ha. Just making like a quick loud laugh, and I'm like, God damn it! It's
like
all lined
Kevin's,
up.
Like everyone's like, God, Kevin is so rude in this episode. He's just interrupting John and Randall.
Oh, that's too funny.
Talking over those guys the whole time.
I'm always paranoid that I'm gonna do that, like that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna edit this part out and like forget that I did it or something. Like I was just listening to an episode the other day, and not of one of ours, just some random podcast, and like the guy was like, oh, he's like, oh, I gotta run to the restroom real quick, and he's like, oh yeah, no worries, man, I'll just trim it all out. Like, and I mean, it was just literally just silence after that, but like they like literally just like he like forgot to cut out that like moment of them being like, oh, whoops, I gotta go to the bathroom. There's just like 2 minutes of silence, and
whoops.
I get it, I could see it happening, but
honestly, that's a good bit though.
Yeah, that's funny. Like there's been a podcast. It was in like a relatively like famous one, like the Low Post or something, where like there was a couple of moments where he's like, all right, producer guy, I flubbed it up. 3, 2, 1. And he like starts talking again. Like that happened a couple of times on the podcast they published. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, I've definitely heard a few podcasts too where I hear like they'll like kind of repeat the same line like 2 or 3 times in a row, and I'm like, clearly they did a reread there, but like just like mindlessly editing it, just like, oh yeah, okay, boom, boom, boom. I mean, it would be very easy to do because you're doing it. I listen back pretty intently, kind of, but like you do get to a point where you're kind of just doing it visually, almost. You're like I'm kind of just like listening, but I'm really almost like looking for any of the, like if someone's not talking and like there's a little spike, I'm like, okay, what was that noise? What happened on that one? And if it's I don't edit out every little noise, but if it's like, okay, clearly John's like not talking at all in this segment, and there's like a bunch of random like ruffling around or whatever, it's like I might as well edit it out if I can. But
it's wild to think about, like, because I didn't really think of like visual like clues or whatever in like waveform like being that big of a like help, but it really is. Like
it's like massive. It actually drives me nuts like how much gets picked up when nothing, like it just shows like the thin like nothing line.
Yeah,
like there've been times where I'm just like, oh, clearly John or Randall or me isn't saying anything here, I'm just gonna like trim this whole section out, and then like I'll be like, oh, I'll wait until I get through the gap, and then like there'll be like a bunch of like little like
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God damn it, good thing I didn't trim that out. Not that it would like kill it or anything, but it's just like, yeah, that helps the conversational flow. So
yeah,
I always make sure to like, if I feel like there's going to be something like that, I like make a trim at the front of where like I think I'm going to cut, and then like wait, make sure I don't hear anything. And then like, okay, cool, I didn't hear anything, like say anything, then I can wipe that whole section. Or if I do, then I can go, okay, I can wipe up until I hear that section.
But could you imagine mixing in the era of tape? And just like,
dude,
oh my God.
They like taught us about it in a couple classes, and I'm like, why did anyone even invent how to do this? This is so dumb. Like you literally have to like cut on like a perfect like diagonal and like tape it together. It's like, I can't believe they did like professional records like that.
Yeah.
They were like, oh yeah,
and they sounded good.
Like, and it's perfect. Yeah. It's like, it's insane, man.
Is so
but
wild.
Then again, there are times where it's just digital, so it's very easy to do. But like there are times where I'm just like, almost do like, I'll be like, I won't even zoom in at all. I'll just kind of be like, that looks about right. And I'll trim it and I'll just slide it over, and it just like, boom, and it lines up perfect. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me that worked. Like, how can you not even hear a seam? Like it's like I can sometimes like it'll be like mid word, and I can have it like just line up in a way like where it's just like, oh, okay. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like I can have like the
It's
same
fucking
word
magic,
like
man.
overlap and just like it just sounds like the same thing. It's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, audio is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's like the same, like anytime when you see like those like, oh, like we poured rice on a table and then used a like bow to like show the waveforms, and I'm like, fuck that. That is magic bullshit right there.
Wow.
Like sound does not move like those waveforms. That's insane. Ugh.
And I really want to go to one of those I think they're called anechoic chambers.
Oh.
Are you familiar with those,
Yeah.
Randall?
No.
They're like I think essentially what it is, it's a room that has like virtually no like reverb in it. So it's like an anti-echo chamber.
Okay.
Like so like there's like essentially there's no reflection of sound off the walls. So like
Be a little creepy.
if the lights are
potentially,
out,
but sure. Yeah.
well apparently like if the lights are out, like you cannot tell, like if you'll hear a sound, but you cannot tell what direction it's coming from, like
not
whatsoever.
Really a big fan of that. No.
And then you also apparently can like legitimately like hear and start almost like feeling like your like blood pumping through your body and like your organs moving and like
thank
you like hear them.
No.
It sounds kind of cool.
Don't
to me.
want it. Don't want it.
Even like just a significantly soundproofed room like makes me uncomfortable.
That is a good point. Yeah, it does usually feel a little like stifling. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, but like especially like with your inner ear stuff where it's like you are supposed to hear sound coming from a specific direction because that orients you and
Yes.
like not
It's like your balance and
not being
everything,
able to hear where something is coming from is
Awareness
like
of
the
danger, yes.
worst fucking thing.
Yes.
Like that just like is an anxiety skyrocket for
Yes.
me.
I'd be I guess I'd just be because if it just happened to me out of the blue, it would be a fucking nightmare. But I wonder
if
how
I
it
was
would feel if you're like,
prepared
okay,
for
I'm
it.
prepared and it's just me and like my two friends or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see because it just sounds like it almost sounds like you can have like a half of an out of body experience, sort of, you know what I mean? Like not quite that level, but like you can kind of like get a little bit of a feeling of like, man, this just feels like just out of this world almost or something.
Yeah.
Although I will say, like, when I was taking like sign language classes, like almost all of my professors were like, when people like would ask them, like, be like, oh yeah, people ask me, is like, oh, don't you wish you would hear, like, and then their answer is like, no, it sounds like a fucking nightmare. Like you're just hearing things all the time. That sounds awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I've got enough senses. I do not need to hear your nightmare noise all the time.
Yeah, or you just be like, wait, like I don't hear my blood pumping right now. What's wrong? I can't hear the fluid flowing.
Am I dying?
Yeah, for real. I'm already paranoid enough as it is, man. I don't need any of that extra. All right. We ready to roll into another one here?
Another Pursuing Pixels podcast.
All right. So we'll do Mind Scanners, Mass Builder, Custom Robo, Spelunky, Tropical Freeze combo, and then Elden Ring. And feel free to do NBA if you want to talk NBA too. I'll just kind of toss it to you.
I don't need to do that.
To wrap it up.
Randall, I'm gonna ask you so many questions on Elden Ring. I want to save it.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason why. Yes. Mm-hmm. Although I'm terrible.
Perfect.
Last preamble is that I'm just terrible about remembering all the names of anything. So I don't know how useful my conversation skills are, but
dude, I've been watching so many lore videos. Like, I'm going nuts.
That's awesome.
On Elden specifically?
Yeah, on Elden Ring specifically. But like, it pours over into Dark Souls and other stuff.
Yeah.
Naturally.
That's fun to get, like, I don't know, just to like have something like that to put on in the background.
It was just a Dark Souls
even
sale.
If not in the background.
So I went and I scooped 3 Game of the Year edition and the original Dark Souls remastered on Xbox because I need my purity of performance, even though I already had it on Switch. So now I have them all on Xbox.
Well, now I have to check to see if there's on sale on the Steam sale.
We're gonna have to turn it into Souls it for the cast, man. Every off episode is just the Souls conversation.
They are.
That's amazing.
Full price. No, thank you.
Aw.
That is a bummer.
I definitely scooped those on Xbox. It wasn't even a week ago. It was probably only a handful of days ago, like 3 days, 2 days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry. Nice.
We were going to record a podcast and I just kept saying
We're
words.
good.
No, I got really excited. I clicked on From Software as a thing, but then it went to Bandai Namco without me knowing. And I was like, From Software did Klonoa?
Oh, man.
I got to get that. Is there a physical of Klonoa on Switch? I haven't found it yet.
They're going to do... Wait, that didn't come out yet, did it?
Came out today.
Oh, shit.
At least on Steam, I saw everybody going, I fucking bought it. I caved and I bought it.
Oh, wow.
Unless they were like doing a pre-order or something. But I was under the impression it was coming out today. People have been, for the last couple days, they've been like, 2 more days, Klonoa. It's been like actually trending like every day on Twitter, which is kind of cool. Wouldn't expect Klonoa to be up there in the top ranks.
Good shit, man.
I'm pumped, man. Klonoa 2, dying to replay that.
It looks like it came out physically in Japan, so it would not surprise me if we get a release. Maybe in Europe too.
And for what it's worth, we could always just import it because region free, baby. I've got that Okami Japanese.
Me too.
Copy. Which part of me, I still every now and then I'm like, if I'm gonna get rid of some of my games, like, do I keep that one? Do I get rid of it? I'm probably never gonna play it again. I'm probably never gonna finish it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. My collector instincts are dwindling. Like, I'm very much more just like, I want to have stuff in my collection that like I'm gonna still play and stuff.
My Switch collection's getting a little obnoxious at this point.
It's like I've got a few duds in mind, but it's mostly thanks to Nintendo, man. Fucking up my style.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I need to stop adding these fucking games to my wish list.
Why did my video freeze?
Yeah, I was like, Randall, your video's freezing, but like you're getting the nice little. It does highlight you every time you talk. I thought you were just like very serious.
Very serious.
Well, I had maybe I had a different Frozen. It looked like you were just like really like excited, like waiting to see what we were gonna say next. Like it looked like you were just like.
No,
like,
yeah, my Frozen one was just Randall being like. And I was like, ugh.
What did I say? What did I say? Okay, so mind scanners. Then I'll toss it to John.
I need to fucking look up what MASS is an acronym for.
You never need to know.
No, it is Mechanical Assault Skeleton Suit Builder.
Sounds right.
Yes. Gotta love that kind of stuff.